What's up, guys? My name is Elias, and this weekend was Batman Day. And with the most iconic rogues gallery in the history of comic books, Batman only ever deserved top notch thespians to play his nemesis on screen. With this video, I will be discussing the top performances of Batman's live action comic book villains, as well as their overall significance to their respective characters' mythos, and rank them from the absolute worst to the absolute best. And there are probably some villains that I missed and or did not feel the need to acknowledge or whatever reason, but without further ado, let's get it. At number 40 is Bane from Batman and Robin. Arguably the worst incarnation of any comic book character in live action, Bane made his big screen debut in 1997's infamous Batman and Robin. Played by the late Robert Jeep Swenson, Bane was subjugated to a bumbling henchman incapable of speaking more than three-word sentences instead of the bat-breaking criminal mastermind from the comics, even though he certainly sported the proper size. He admittedly makes me laugh, though, whenever he says anything. Brain! Number 39 is Calendar Man from The Suicide Squad. While Sean Gunn's Calendar Man's single line of dialogue was intentionally played for laughs, the lack of the role's comic book faithfulness and short screen time befalls him to the bottom half of the list. Gunn is currently playing Maxwell Lord in the DCU, however, and the few bits we've gotten of him in Superman and Peacemaker make me think he could be a Craig character going forward, but time will tell. Number 38 is Talia al Ghul from The Dark Knight Rises. Marion Cotillard of Inception fame was casted as Miranda Tate, a business mogul who in actuality was the daughter of the Demon's Head Ra's al Ghul in 2012's The Dark Knight Rises. On paper, Talia's vendetta against Bruce Wayne makes for a twist of epic proportions to close out Christopher Nolan's trilogy. On film, not so much. Plus, her death scene was terrible. Like, what? Number 37 is Maroni and the Gangsters from The Dark Knight. Although there is nothing innately wrong with Eric Roberts' performance, there's likewise nothing particularly special about his turn as Gotham mob boss Salvatore Maroni. Used mainly as a plot device along with Michael Jai White's Gamble and Richie Coster's Chechen, anyone else could have played their parts and the film wouldn't have been better nor worse for it. Imagine someone like Ray Liotta for Maroni, though. Perfection. Number 36 is Two-Face from Batman Forever. Renowned actor Tommy Lee Jones seemed like a solid choice for Gotham's Oedipal District Attorney, but the hypersexualized Batman film he was casted in was of the divisive Joel Schumacher's making. Though the flick is entertaining in its own right and the actor does show hints of a truly stellar performance in the role, Jones fails to bring anything unique or meaningful to his portrayal, coming off as more of a Jim Carrey copycat than the tortured Two-Face from the comics. He killed it as General Phillips in Captain America, though. Number 35 is Deathstroke from Zack Snyder's Justice League. Man, what could have been? True Blood Alan Joe Manganiello appeared in the epilogue of Zack Snyder's Justice League with a relatively quick cameo that was to be followed up by a full-on antagonistic role in Ben Affleck's ill-fated solo Batman film. His relatively short runtime in the role lands toward the bottom, but still beating out Tommy Lee Jones' Two-Face because Manganiello certainly looks and acts the part from the brief glimpses we've seen. Plus, that suit is just so, ugh, awesome. Awesome. Number 34 is Killer Croc from Suicide Squad. Suicide Squad's announcement in 2014 saw fans ecstatic for such an eclectic bunch of baddies to join forces in cinemas. Once Adewale Akinnuoye Elbaji, I think I'm pronouncing his name right, was casted as Killer Croc, my fear of heavy CGI was quelled with the reveal of prosthetic realism, making Croc stand out physically among the team. However, with not much to do besides grunting, swimming, and saying the occasional one-liner, Waylon Jones sits pretty low on my list. Number 33 is Ratcatcher 2 from The Suicide Squad. With a heartwarming backstory and charming personality, Daniela Melchior's Ratcatcher 2 became the heart and soul of Amanda Waller's Task Force X. It almost feels weird to even call the millennial a villain with as much love as she pours into her friendships, but she does control rats to eat people's insides and whatnot, so I digress. Her relatively good-hearted nature and love for family make her a welcome addition to the DCU, but I'm curious as to what she did to land herself on the Suicide Squad in the first place. Seems there's more to her than meets the eye. Number 32 is Joker from The Batman. The 5-minute deleted scene on YouTube of Keegan's acid-washed, cup-teeth clown shows his potential to be one of the greatest Jokers of all time. Because the scene wasn't in the actual movie itself, however, audiences were only treated to a mere tease in the Batman's final minutes as an alliance brewed between the Mad Clown and the newly incarcerated Riddler. Still dope, just need to see more of him before placing him any higher. Number 31 are the Rogues from CW's Batwoman. Batwoman boasted a bevy of Batman villains, including the likes of Black Mask, Professor Pig, and the fan favorite Hush, with the series' main antagonist Alice completely stealing the show with her unfailing charisma and witty demeanor. Unfortunately, mishaps like a bastardized version of the Joker and an arbitrary transformation from Poison Ivy, for example, failed to spark any memorable longevity for the show's 3 season run. Number 30 are the Rogues from HBO Max's Titans. After a lackluster first season, Titans was in desperate need of a game changer. Enter Asai Morales, whose in story resurgence single handedly became the most endearing arc of the entire series. Be that as it may, a weaker version of Trigon and a reformed Blackfire, along with an unrecognizable Scarecrow and a whiny Red Hood, all cluttered the pace with scenery chewing dialogue and flimsy motivations. Number 29 are the Rogues from 1966's The Batman Movie. As I stated before in my other Batman ranking videos, I am not a fan of the 1960s era of the DC Universe. That being said, I do respect everything it represented and accomplished, as it helped bring superheroes to the forefront of pop culture. Rife with corny yet iconic villains, hammy performances, and clunky dialogue, the Adam West world of Batman certainly had an unflinching amount of entertainment value, but it was bogged down by the goofiness of its era. At number 28 is Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy from Batman and Robin. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Uma Thurman's legendary turns as Mr. Freeze and Poison Ivy, respectively, are the epitome of entertainment value. Both villains tend to monologue to themselves, shamelessly spout ice and plant puns every 5 seconds, and conjure the most nonsensical plans for world domination. Still, the nostalgic factor for these two bleed past reason and are still the most fun versions of the characters on screen so far. Number 27 is Doomsday from Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. Whether it was studio interference or Zack Snyder's own hubris that shoehorned Doomsday so soon into the DCU and concocted the monster's troll like radioactive appearance, we'll never know. However, it's important to note the significance of his big screen debut. The Abomination ultimately destroyed the Man of Steel for the first time on screen, providing fans with Superman's first live action death that will be remembered throughout cinema history, no matter how divisive the movie itself was and still is to this day. Number 26 is Falcone from Batman Begins. Christopher Nolan knew what he was doing casting the late Tom Wilkinson in the role of Carmine Falcone. Batman Begins, one of the few superhero films to perfectly balance multiple villains, shows Wilkinson holding his own as the Gotham crime lord. For some, his portrayal seems cartoonish in an otherwise realistically gritty world, but the actor gains major brownie points for the speech he delivers to Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne, which sets the billionaire on his journey to becoming the Caped Crusader. That's a power you can't buy. That's the power of fear. Bringing in the top 25 is Max Schreck from Batman Returns. As one of the Batman villains originating in a movie rather than a comic, Christopher Walken is an absolute force of charisma as billionaire Max Schreck. Along with his typical Walkenisms, the actor displays a casual menace to the role, conveying the unpredictability of real life business moguls. He schemes with the Penguin, pushes Selina Kyle out of a window, and quips in the face of death, making him one of the most memorable antagonists to date. At number 24 are the Rogues from Arrow. In a show without Batman, Arrow sure included many of the Dark Knight's rogues within its 8 season run. From Ra's al Ghul to Prometheus, many enemies on the show were played fantastically, if not to perfection. This sentiment rings truest for Manu Bennett's Deathstroke, who was arguably the best and most personal villain in the entire series, begrudgingly hitting Stephen Amell's Oliver Queen where it truly hurt. Home. At number 23 is Lex Luthor from Batman vs. Superman Dawn of Justice. I know he's not technically a Batman villain, but he was a Batman antagonist in Zack Snyder's Man of Steel trilogy, so I put him on the list. Now, as a 90s baby, the Lex Luthor I was accustomed to was from the Superman animated series, complete with a Clancy Brown like voice and a Walter White esque demeanor, instead of a quippy, whiny, angry little man. However, Jesse Eisenberg's version, I cannot talk today, begs the question, what would a modern day tycoon with beef against two of the biggest superheroes in the world actually be like? The guy is always 5 steps ahead of everyone else, ruthlessly insane and evil in every sense of the word. What more can you really ask for from a Lex Luthor? Number 22 is Catwoman from The Batman. In a film with many side characters, Zoe Kravitz's Catwoman stands out with panache as she desperately displays, dude, I cannot talk today, displays a hypnotizing vulnerability in Selena Kyle. Her compelling origin only further fuels her vendetta against her estranged father, Carmine Falcone, providing a depth to the character we hadn't seen before. Meanwhile, she uses her femininity to get what she wants, takes ish from no one, and kicks some serious butt in the process. Number 21 is Falcone from The Batman. Watching John Turturro's Carmine Falcone is a thoroughly haunting experience. The Transformers actor portrays a calm and devilish depiction of the Gotham City kingpin, full of deceit and lies. The mob boss says and does whatever he must in order to maintain his reign over Gotham. His mannerisms, behavior, and attitude are all chilling as his sadistic nature creeps into your brain, intimidating even Gotham's finest. Plus, he straight up strangled Catwoman's friend just to keep her from spilling some important info, and that's just dark, man. But bringing in the top 20 is Scarecrow from the Dark Knight trilogy. The frequent Christopher Nolan collaborator provides his signature cold and calculated look in the villain's eyes as if life means little in the pursuit of science. Scarecrow's fearful presence is felt throughout the film with extended cameos in the sequels that followed. What holds his virgin back, however, I had to burp. I'm so sorry about that, guys. Whatever what holds his version back, however, is his status as a pawn to Ra's al Ghul, a minor crime boss and an anarchic judge in The Dark Knight, when games like Batman Arkham Knight prove that the psychotic doctor could be a force to reckon with on his own, which I think Cillian Murphy could have easily played out within the trilogy. Number 19 are the Rogues from Gotham. Fortunately, Gotham's much criticized shoehorning of Batman's resident villains pre Batman didn't stop DC from providing fans with some of the most comic accurate yet enjoyably unique versions of them. Cameron Monaghan's Jerome Valeska broke out with a Joker performance that could send chills down your spine. Add in mainstays like Penguin and Riddler, and Gotham City actually felt like it needed someone to dress up as a giant bat just to save it. Number 18 is Jared Leto's Joker. Say what you will about Suicide Squad, but Leto's Joker was far from the bane of the movie. Due to studio interference and extensive reshoots, Leto's unsettlingly enthralling performance was nearly completely cut from the film, allowing for a redemptive cameo in Zack Snyder's Justice League, though we'll never get to see his prominence in Superman's downfall played out on screen. Still, his unnerving laugh and disturbed look make him one of the most endearing Jokers in cinema. I said what I said. Fight me. Number 17 is Black Mask and Zaz from Birds of Prey. Birds of Prey saw Ewan McGregor and Chris Messina stealing every scene that they were in. Messina's deranged Victor Zaz plays well off McGregor's narcissistic Black Mask, as the unpredictable duo peel people's faces off and command women to dance naked on tabletops. My only wish is that they were kept alive for future projects, but for now, McGregor's shocking but hilarious death, where he screams like a girl before exploding from a grenade, will keep me laughing until the end of my days. Number 16 is Polka Dot Man from The Suicide Squad. David Dastmalchian has appeared in multiple comic book projects, especially DC projects, making him a veteran of the medium. Complete with a tragic backstory and the weirdest power set to boot, his Polka Dot Man brought a certain cadence to Task Force X, not to mention a calm insanity that every introvert can relate to. His abrupt death at the heels of Starro the Conqueror make for a perfect WTF moment that leaves you wanting even more from the obscure character. Number 15 is Deadshot from Suicide Squad. Let's go save the world. Will Smith's screen presence and genuine delivery make Deadshot the most likable bad guy in a movie with only bad guys. He's a tough leader, badass, and relatable due to a familial purpose for his actions. From his extensive comic book research prior to filming, Will Smith was able to delve into the psyche of a hitman with a heart. Not an easy task to accomplish when you're actually a guy who slaps people for ego reasons. Sorry, I had to go there. Number 14 is Catwoman from The Dark Knight Rises. Anne Hathaway's Selena Kyle provides a grounded yet faithful take on DC's iconic cat burglar. With an engaging story and relatable motives, Catwoman teeters on both sides of the morality spectrum as she weaponizes her feminine wiles and protects the innocents with top-notch fighting skills in a practical, comic-inspired suit. Additionally, her romance with Christian Bale's Bruce Wayne feels congruent to their comic book relationship in that Bruce will always see the good in Selena, even if she doesn't. Number 13 is the Riddler from The Batman. Paul Dano, widely known from 2013's Prisoners, played the Batman's Riddler as a psychotic and murderous terrorist. His killing of a Gotham City politician sets the film's dark and dreary tone from the outset as he beats his victims to death, then tapes him up to a chair, leaving behind his signature riddles in the process. As a more serious take on the clue themed criminal, Dano, in my opinion, has become the gold standard for live action comic villains for much of the newer generation. Number 12 is the Penguin from The Batman. Colin Farrell's unrecognizable performance in The Batman is majorly hailed as the best part of the movie. A realistic take on one of Batman's arch enemies, Farrell's Penguin is cutthroat, relentless, and has the cojones to stand up to the Bat and make him look foolish in the process. Farrell completely outdoes himself in the aptly titled Penguin series on HBO Max, where he rises to be one of the most feared crime bosses in Gotham. There's even talks of a second season, so fingers crossed. Number 11 is the Penguin from Batman Returns. You don't really think you'll win, do you? Danny DeVito's hypnotizing performance as deformed orphan Oswald Cobblepot is one that will transcend time. Draped in dark furs and a top hat, Penguin squawks and waddles about as he pilots a giant duck boat and plots to take over Gotham with an army of rocket-strapped penguins. That should sound ridiculous, but DeVito's gravitas and all-in approach to the role make watching the bird-loving umbrella twirler entertaining from start to finish. Bringing in the top 10 is the Riddler from Batman Forever. Delusional and disturbed, the legendary Jim Carrey's Edward Nygma is just as unhinged as he is comical. Clad in a question mark themed leotard and a green domino mask, Riddler vows vengeance against Gotham's resident billionaire Bruce Wayne with bombastic energy and hilarious schemes. He unapologetically dominates every scene he's in, making Tommy Lee Jones's reportedly envious hatred toward the famous character actor understandable. I know it's kind of crazy he's so high up on the list, but I'm a massive Jim Carrey fan, and I have way too much fun and nostalgia for his portrayal of the character. Number 9, I got Joaquin Phoenix as the Joker. Following a mentally disturbed outcast named Arthur Fleck, 2019's Joker answers the question of what it really takes to turn someone into the clown prince of crime. And no, we are not acknowledging the retcon version of the character in Folie à Deux. That does not exist. That movie doesn't exist. Joaquin Phoenix's suspenseful performance completely immerses the audience into the movie's dark subject matter. The actor's dramatic physical and mental dedication to the role, combined with the marionette makeup, off purple suit, unnerving laugh, and haunting smile, all signify Phoenix was born to play the Joker, or at least a niche version of him. Number 8 is Amanda Waller in The Suicide Squad. I cannot say enough good things about Viola Davis's straight up savage Amanda Waller. Making her debut in David Ayer's Suicide Squad, Waller leads Task Force X with an iron hand behind the scenes, is cruelly unafraid of blowing someone's head off, and is entirely incapable of showing fear in the face of death. Davis is the epitome of comic book accuracy as she completely embodies the wall with tenacity and ruthlessness. Number 7 is Ra's al Ghul from the Dark Knight trilogy. Yes, Qui-Gon Jinn himself was in a Batman movie. Wild, right? Serving as Bruce Wayne's mentor and eventual enemy, Liam Neeson's Ra's al Ghul led the League of Shadows for Lord knows how long around the globe, toppling regimes and conquering empires. As the first live-action Ra's al Ghul, Neeson was able to make the role his own, displaying the character's somber stoicism as he schools his protege Bruce Wayne in the way of the warrior, only to teach him one final lesson in death. Number 6 is Two-Face from The Dark Knight. Aaron Eckhart's downfall as District Attorney Harvey Dent turned Two-Face is one of the most incredibly endearing and underrated performances in cinematic history. His uplifting side is upended by unfortunate events that cause his descent into madness. Accompanied by a combination of mind-blowing CGI and practical effects, Eckhart keeps you on the edge of your seat as he ventures around Gotham flipping a coin to decide the fates of the guilty. Number 5 is Catwoman from Batman Returns. Michelle Pfeiffer's leather-clad femme fatale takes you on a journey of self-discovery as she ludicrously gains alley cat abilities after being killed. Selena Kyle's dual identities clash as she navigates love and vengeance in a mesmerizing tale that cemented her as the gold standard for anyone who plays the character. Number 4 is Bane from The Dark Knight Rises. You merely adopted the dark. I was born in it, molded by it. Combining his domineering presence with his iconic look and distinct voice, Tom Hardy undoubtedly became the template for any future Bane actors to follow. His ferocity, strength, and speed posed a problem for Christian Bale's Batman, as the infamous breaking of the bat stunned audiences and fans alike. Although a glorified henchman who was abruptly defeated by a blast to the chest, I still find myself returning to Rises for Hardy's performance alone. Number 3 is Harley Quinn from the DCEU. Arguably the most accurate live action depiction of a comic book character, Margot Robbie astonishes as Joker's former flame. She cusses, beats people with a bat, spouts insane one liners, and fights like an absolute savage. Her evolution from helpless sidekick to independent bombshell spanned 3 films, all showcasing her range and mastery of the medium. Our runner up is Joker from 1989's Batman. You ever dance with the devil in the pale moonlight? A childhood favorite of mine, Jack Nicholson's Jack Napier, aka Joker, is arguably the most entertaining villain ever seen on screen. Complete with electrocuting buzzers, acidic flowers, and sinister one liners, his comic accurate Joker feels like the madman with makeup necessary to launch the pantheon of superhero movie villain portrayals that followed. Simply put, Jack Nicholson is Joker. But at number 1 is the Joker from The Dark Knight. The late Heath Ledger's casting as the Joker in The Dark Knight caused quite an uproar, but naysayers gobbled their words once the film was released. With a unique take on Batman's arch-nemesis, Ledger was able to remain faithful to the comics yet grounded in Christopher Nolan's hyper-realistic world. His grim humor and nigh unpredictability kept viewers on their toes as he cemented his position as not only a phenomenal comic book villain, but also quite possibly the greatest movie villain of all time. But there you have it, guys. My official ranking of all 40 or so live action Batman villains. And if there are villains you feel like I should have put in the list, let me know in the comments below, as well as your thoughts on my ranking and how you would rank each villain, or just give me your top 5 and we can discuss our differences. Remember to hit that like button and share this video to someone so they can join in on the conversation too. Subscribe to my channel and follow me on all socials at Takes with Eli. But until next time, guys, take care and God bless. Like, share, subscribe. Follow me on all socials at Takes with Eli. Until next time, guys, take care and God bless.